Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to take complex sources, pull out the pure knowledge, and give you the ultimate shortcut to being well-informed.
And today we are strapping ourselves in for a look at the philosophy behind a machine that really changed electronic music history.
We're talking about the Buchla Music Easel.
An absolutely iconic instrument. It first appeared way back in 1973, and people often call it the single-unit minimal orchestra. It's basically a whole musical environment you can just pick up and carry anywhere.
So our mission for this deep dive is to really unpack the singular vision of its designer, Don Buchla.
Right.
Because he didn't just build a portable synth. He engineered what he called an individual improvisation device.
And that's the key.
So the goal here is to understand how the easel forces the performer to completely rethink their role. You're not a controller anymore. You're a collaborator with the circuit itself.
Yeah, it's crucial to get inside Buchla's head right from the start. He had this first quote. He said, "The easel is a canvas. The player cannot save the lines they draw in that moment." That idea, the enforced transience, the fact that there's no save button, that's the whole philosophical foundation of the device.
That commitment to the moment really sets the stage. So if the easel is demanding that kind of unrepeatable performance, we have to ask, what was it reacting against, in the musical world of the 1970s? Where does this whole anti-save philosophy even come from?
Well, it takes us right back to the early 1960s and to this great philosophical and geographical split in electronic music.
East Coast versus West Coast.
Exactly. On the East Coast, you had Bob Moog. His instruments were all built around the keyboard.
So something familiar.
Very familiar. Tied right into classical music tradition. And they were all about control, creating predictable, repeatable sounds.
And then out on the West Coast, you had Don Buchla.
It's almost a perfect cultural mirror image, isn't it? While Moog was trying to structure and control sound, Buchla's main goal was to generate it. He wanted to unlock the raw potential of electricity as a sound source, not just use it to imitate other instruments.
You can see that difference just by looking at the thing.
Oh, immediately. Buchla deliberately chose touch plates over a traditional keyboard. And that wasn't just, an artsy choice. It was a radical statement.
Okay, so if you take away the fixed pitch keys, you're taking away the whole standard framework for melody and harmony. How does a player not just, descend into random noise?
That's the genius of it. By getting rid of fixed pitch, you force the performance away from composition and towards change rate and contingency.
Contingency, you mean like accidents?
Exactly. Happy accidents. You have to focus on gesture, on pressure, on speed, all the unpredictable results of just interacting with an electrical current. Buchla was very clear about this. He said the easel demands the player be a co-creator with the circuit.
Not just a controller telling it what notes to play.
Precisely.
I find that idea of contingency really fascinating, but it also sounds absolutely terrifying for a performer. How does the instrument give you enough musical structure for this co-creation to actually, work?
It gives you that structure through its fundamental design. Specifically, how the manipulation of the sound is it's completely tied to the tactile experience. Buchla made sure that waveform manipulation equals tactile experience.
Let's drill down on that for a second. You mentioned the complex oscillator, the heart of the sound, and that it has both FM and wave folding. Now, for anyone listening, what exactly is wave folding, and why is it so responsive to touch?
Great question, because wave folding is like the Buchla sound.
Yeah.
So imagine you have a simple, smooth sine wave, a really pure, clean tone.
Oh, yeah.
Wave folding is a process that literally folds that wave back on itself. Like, think of folding a piece of paper over and over, creating these sharp creases.
Ah, I see.
When that wave gets folded, it instantly creates these incredibly complex, rich, and often really irregular harmonics.
So instead of the Moog approach, which is using filters to subtract harmonics from a rich source,
Right.
the easel adds complexity by just reshaping the basic wave.
Precisely. And because the amount of folding and the amount of FM can be voltage controlled, which just means controlled by your finger pressure on the touch plates, a tiny change in how you touch it results in this huge dramatic change in the sound's character. You are literally feeling the sound change right under your finger. It's an immediate, non-linear collaboration.
Which brings us back to the hardware itself. The philosophy is surrender. The tool is the easel. Let's move from the idea to the actual architecture that makes this whole thing possible.
Okay, so the easel is built from two main blocks, and they provide everything you need for a full performance, which is exactly why it got that nickname, the minimal orchestra.
And these blogs are totally integrated.
Completely. The sound generation, that comes from the Buchla 208 stored program sound source. That's the core module. And the interface, the part you play, is the Buchla 218 touch keyboard controller.
So by putting them together, the whole musical chain is completed internally.
Yep. The signal flow runs from clock generation through modulation right to the sound output. You don't need any external gear. It's totally self-sufficient.
That integration seems like the whole point. What specific features did Buchla pack in there to intentionally push the player toward, spontaneous creation instead of planned out multi-tracked music?
The spontaneity really comes from how flexible the system is internally. So besides the complex oscillator we just talked about, you have two other key components for time and movement, the pulsar and the envelope generator.
Okay, let's start with the pulsar. What's its job in this ecosystem?
The pulsar is the heartbeat. It just generates periodic pulses, so it's the internal clock, the trigger for the whole system. But, and this is but unlike a normal metronome, its rate can be super irregular. So right away you get this non-metric, almost organic feel.
And the envelope generator, traditionally that's just for shaping the attack and decay of a note.
But the Easel's envelope is so much more flexible. It can be automatically controlled, it can react to gates, and most importantly for improvisation, you can set it to loop.
And when you set it to loop, it becomes what?
It basically becomes another LFO, a low-frequency oscillator. It starts generating this continuous rhythmic movement inside the patch. So you're not just shaping the start and end of a sound, you're creating this constant, evolving internal motion.
And to top it all off, that little touch of ambience, the sources say it has an actual spring reverb unit built in.
It does, a real spring reverb. It adds this natural physical sense of space, which just completes the package. The end result of all this integration is that the center of making music shifts, completely away from intellectual planning and toward immediate tactility and just listening.
You just turn it on and start playing the current.
You got it.
So let's look at two incredible artists who truly mastered that current, starting with the legend Suzanne Ciani. Her Easel sessions, which she started performing in the 2010s, are just the perfect showcase for this thing as a solo orchestra.
Ciani performs these with the Easel and nothing else. She completely resists the temptation to, plug in a laptop or other controllers. It's just pure live analog synthesis.
And the sound is so strikingly organic. When you listen, the pitch doesn't just jump between notes. It glides smoothly based on how she presses the plates, and the modulation just sort of drifts and fluctuates. It sounds alive.
Like a massive woodwind instrument or something.
Yeah.
Which is exactly why Ciani famously calls the Easel a breathing instrument. And the technical reason behind that breathing sound is her use of non-synchronous modulation.
Okay, hold on. Non-synchronous modulation. For us listening, what does that actually mean for the sound we're hearing?
It means that the different parts that are modulating the sound, say the pulsar controlling the rhythm and an LFO controlling the pitch, they are not locked together by one central clock.
So they're running at their own separate speeds.
Exactly. They're independent. And this creates this beautiful, complex chaos where the timing elements are always drifting slightly in and out of phase with each other.
So instead of a rigid digital grid keeping everything perfectly aligned,
you have several different time sources all running on their own. And that interaction between the pulsar and, say, a looping envelope creates these breath-like time sensations. You get these floating, nonlinear harmonics. It really does give the impression that the air itself is being played.
There's no fixed countable time, just continuous cyclical change.
Mm-hmm.
So if Ciani gave the Easel a breath, then Charles Cohen, who used the instrument for over 40 years, he used it to sculpt time.
Cohen took that philosophy of yielding to the circuit even further, I think. His performances just completely abandoned any concept of a steady tempo. He was focused entirely on how textures evolved and how the structure could just flow.
The sources describe his use of the pulsar as literally expanding and contracting like breath. He was playing the machine's internal timing.
Yeah, and his famous quote just confirms it. Cohen said, "The easel is a tool for sculpting time."
How did he do that? What did he create?
He achieved what a lot of people call a non-metric groove. And that's not groove in like a funk sense. It's a fluid textural rhythm. He did it by using the pulsar's irregular trigger to constantly modulate the complex oscillator.
So this constant out-of-sync input causes the harmonics to just continuously collapse and regenerate.
That's a perfect way to put it. It sounds like something that's always decaying and being reborn, all in real time.
Creating this almost acoustic shimmering texture.
A texture that would be impossible to sequence perfectly on a computer. Cohen said he would just surrender to the flow of the current. He was letting the irregular timing of the machine dictate where the music went. He was following the current, not controlling it.
Following the current. That really gets us to the deeper meaning of the easel, doesn't it? The core idea that ties all these technical bits together.
Yeah.
The music isn't about pressing a button. It's literally about the relationship between your body and an electrical circuit.
That is the absolute core of the Buchla philosophy. It's about yielding to the reaction speed of the electrical circuit. And that is the fundamental anti-digital impulse of the easel.
So why is it so inherently anti-digital or anti-computer?
Because the things that affect the sound go way beyond just where the dials are set. I mean, think about what influences the control voltage, the CV, that the easel uses to communicate.
Okay.
Your finger pressure, sure. But also the capacitance of your skin, the humidity in the air, even the room temperature. All of these things influence those CV values in subtle, unpredictable ways.
So every single time you play it, the environment itself is shaping the sound. The performance is completely unique to that one moment, that one climate.
Exactly. The sound it generates is a true phenomenon, not data. It's an immediate, temporary, and intensely physical event. It's electrical energy passing through a system, being filtered by your body's interaction with those metal plates.
That's a powerful distinction. And the source material mentions there's this recent resurgence of interest in using the pure analog easel, specifically avoiding MIDI conversion.
Yeah, people just want to get back to that pure current response.
It's like a movement to bring a physical reality back into electronic music.
It is. It's a rejection of the clean, perfect, infinitely repeatable loops you get from a digital workstation. It's about embracing the messy, shifting, imperfect reality of analog physics, where no two performances can ever really be identical.
And the legacy of this philosophy is huge. We see it in so many contemporary artists and educators who are carrying that torch.
Oh, absolutely. Like Todd Barton, the modular synth educator. He sees the easel as the contact point between consciousness and machine. And his mantra for others is, don't play it, listen to it playing you.
And the impact of early players like Cohen was so big that Buchla actually reproduced his favorite settings on what they called the Cohen program card.
Yeah, so others could get a starting point for his unique approach to texture and time. And even modern artists like Caitlin Aurelia Smith have taken that core easel concept of natural organic fluctuation and just extended it brilliantly into modern digital spaces.
So what does this all boil down to? The Buchla Music Easel is this instrument that's deceptively small in function, but it's infinite in its potential for expression. It's not just a synth, it's a philosophical device.
It is. It forces the player to live completely in the moment of sound creation, accepting whatever comes out of their collaboration with the electricity. Cohen understood that so well. He called the easel his lonely conversational partner.
And Ciani saw it as an organ that translates human emotion into electronics.
Perfect descriptions.
In a live music world that's so dominated by laptops and standardized digital tools, the Buchla Music Easel really does remain the ultimate isolated orchestra. It's this powerful, portable statement about the value of the transient, the unrepeatable in a performance.
And, that leads us to a final provocative thought for you to take away from all this.
Let's hear it.
If the easel works by making the player's body, their heat, their pressure, their physical state an actual part of the electrical circuit, what does the renewed interest in this pure analog current suggest about our modern relationship between human physicality and making music? What essential part of the musical experience are we losing when we prioritize stable digital control over these spontaneous, unpredictable electrical phenomena?